The following interview contains commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.
Thanks for joining us today on Minnesota and Company. I'm your host, Jessica Fix. When most people think about retirement planning, they think about investments, 401ks, and Social Security. But one of the biggest and most often overlooked pieces of the puzzle is housing. Jeff Foley, founder and investment advisor representative from Paladin Financial, is back.
Thanks you for having
coming
me.
Back.
Yes.
We always get lots of good info when you're here.
Good.
And if you want to get info for yourself, you can scan this QR code on your screen. It'll take you right to a page where you can fill out info and get a complimentary consultation.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about your retirement plan and housing and how that's really tied together. So how does that fit into the picture of retirement?
Yeah. For most people, housing is their biggest expense or their biggest asset, sometimes both. So it's also one of the biggest financial decisions that most people will make. So we want to make sure that it's part of an overall plan, not something that sits off to the side. So as we build a financial plan for a client, we look at things like how their housing strategy is going to change over time and how that fits into their plan. So raising kids, transitioning to retirement towards our housing needs change as we get older. So whether you're buying your first home, you're upgrading, or you're downsizing, you want to make sure that that housing strategy fits into and supports your long-term plan.
And I know in Minnesota here too, there's a lot of people that buy a second home or they do downsize and also buy a second home if they're lucky enough to do that. So I can see how all of this factors into that.
It's important,
Okay, and then when it comes to home equity, because you build that over time, how does that play a part into your retirement income?
Yeah, so home equity is another piece of the puzzle, and it's not the first place that people think of when it comes to creating retirement income, but it can create a lot of flexibility. So that might be downsizing and taking equity out, or using a home equity line of credit, or maybe even a reverse mortgage. And a lot of times accessing that equity can be done more tax efficiently than pulling money out of a retirement account. So key is to understand those different options and how those fit into your bigger picture to make a decision that's right for you.
And that's why you call an expert like Paladin Financial to really make it personalized and custom for you.
Correct, yeah, you want it built into your overall financial plan.
And then interest rates, because those can fluctuate. How
Comes
does
up
that,
a lot.
Yes, how does that factor into what you're doing with your retirement?
Yeah, it's a big factor. It impacts your affordability, your monthly payments, but it's very difficult to time exactly what interest rates are going to do and when. So a lot of times we see people holding off too long to purchase their house because of interest rates. So if you look at things, you want to look at, does it fit my financial plan, my budget, and my life goals? And based on that, if the numbers work out today, you always have the opportunity to refinance later if interest rates come down. So we want that decision to be made on both a combination of your financial plan and your life goals.
And then the price of your home, that can really impact your finances too, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So your home is not just where you live, it affects your cash flow and ultimately how confidently you can retire. And most people, they're going to build equity and their income will increase throughout their career, but we don't want to wait too long to make a good decision there and factor in how that home price is going to impact your plan throughout the year. So have a good game plan, make adjustments over time. That's where a financial plan can come into play to model things like paying off consumer debts, raising kids, other future goals to make a good decision.
And then if you're thinking about balancing your mortgage versus investing, what is your advice on that?
This is one of the most common questions we get is, should I keep my money invested or pay the house down more aggressively over time? And this is something that has to be personalized. That answer is a combination of math and emotion. So mathematically, if your interest rate on your mortgage is pretty low and your investments are growing at a much higher rate, it might make more sense to keep that money invested. But from an emotional perspective, some people are just more comfortable having that house paid off. So the key is to strike a balance between staying invested, having flexibility, maintaining an emergency fund, but at the same time doing what's going to help you to sleep well at night.
Jeff, thank you so much for coming. This was a lot of really good info. Remember, you can grab your phone and scan the QR code on your screen right now to schedule a complimentary consultation. Paladin Financial is located in Arden Hills. You can call 651-842-8406 or visit paladinfinancial.com. We would like to thank Paladin Financial for sponsoring today's interview.